1, 2.
Welcome, everybody. This is Inebriated podcast. This is your host, Sam C. I'm my co-host.
As always, JDot, one whole of the Soul Questering Collective in the motherfucking building, nigga.
Welcome, everybody. This is a special episode. We have two featured guests today. We have my dog, Ray. Ray, what's up? How's it going? How's everything?
Hanging in there. Life is good.
And we got Miss Lucy Lou here.
Hi, everybody.
Not the actor, the mistress. So, how's everything? How's everything going on in your world?
Pretty good, and you guys?
That's what's up. Long time no see. We haven't seen each other in a long time. This is one of Ray's good friends. We haven't seen her in a long time, so thank you for bringing her along to join us here on the podcast. And how's life been, Ray? What can you tell us about your life right now?
Well, I gotta say, man, hey, everything switched around. Now I'm actually a co-owner of Caveman Vape and Smoke Shop. If you guys want to come by, anything you need, you know what I'm saying.
Tell the fans, where's it located?
Yeah, the address is 2410 Sheridan Street. You guys can be there anytime between 9 to 9, 365, every day a year, and I'll be there.
In Hollywood, Florida.
I forgot to say that, guys. Yes,
once again, the address is
2410 Sheridan Street.
All right,
there we go.
I'll put it on the bottom scroll.
That's what, 33020.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Let the fans know, because we out here, the same as you support us, we locally owned niggas, so we gonna support locally owned business, and everybody, you know what I'm saying, one hand washes the other, both wash the face. You already know.
I like that.
I never heard that. I was actually really good.
No, it's poetic. It's poetic what this motherfucker do on the mic.
I'm telling you, man, I'm about to Facebook status that right now. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what makes the world go around.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And speaking of that, make sure, please, everybody that's at home, if you're watching this right now, share us on all social media, on Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube,
Twitter.
Share us on all social media, outlets, on all social media platforms.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe. And let's move the conversation over now. We were doing a lot of things off camera, but we're gonna bring this back on camera since we have everybody here. Everybody's been enjoying themselves. Everybody's got a drink in their hand. So actually, let's start with a salud toast. Let's start with a toast. We got 4 shot glasses here. I believe I put. There we go. Boom. Yeah, we got 4 shot glasses here. Oh, we gotta pour. Oh no,
we got 4 shot glasses, but only like 2 of them is.
No. We got 3. I got one.
Okay,
She's
gonna
drink.
there, I got mine.
She's gonna drink, and you got yours. She's gonna drink.
Sorry, guys, I don't do Fireball.
She's taking a shot of Evian.
Salud. Always a good way to start the podcast. And now the rule is, if you give us a statistical fact wrong, you got to take a shot. So
that's just the way it goes. But before anything, you know what I'm saying, God bless and bless God. Let's get it. Say, like some people say, if you're saying something and it's like completely off basis and it's wrong, you will by yourself be taking a shot to the dome just to keep it under control, because a lot of people like saying a lot of things because you don't got to be held accountable. On this podcast, you will be held accountable.
Facts.
Not by us, but by BSO. Because if you keep saying some shit that's wrong,
they gonna check you.
You're gonna get a DUI on the way.
Right.
On the way home from the podcast, man.
But no. But what it is that, like, let's say you get a date wrong or a year wrong, or Sammy will talk.
All right, boom. Like me and Sammy, we were talking about before y'all came through. We was talking about it was Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi Leonard, he played against the Heat in the finals twice. The Spurs lost the first time. The Spurs won the second time. Now we talking about that situation. Mind you, when they won and when they lost and when they won, it was LeBron, James Jones, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Birdman. Yeah. However, however, Sam had the nerve to mention Hassan Whiteside. Exactly. That was the same face I made. So guess what he had to do? Big shot.
Yeah.
Double go.
Basically.
No, triple go for being such a goop.
Well, then I'm gonna tell you right now. Y'all lucky, man. If this ain't me last year, I say everything wrong on purpose.
Lord help us.
But that's not what we're here for.
Hey, truth be told.
Another fact, we gotta let y'all know. Like I didn't think about this earlier. For anybody listening from out the state or whatever, in South Florida, when we say you gook or you gook and shit like that, that just means you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. You made an error and whatever. Cause I just remembered, like, gook in America.
You covered this.
No, but we gotta recover it.
Gotta
it's 2019.
Okay,
we gotta recover it.
We gotta remind some people.
Apparently, like, we be forgetting how racist a couple Caucasians is. Right. And apparently gook is like, you know what I'm saying?
A racist slang term for Asian
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now to keep the conversation going, speaking of gooks, I heard that you're half Japanese.
Yeah. Hold on, wait. How many chickens have you seen?
You know what?
I heard about chickens.
How much sushi have you made in your life? I like shrimp tempura.
There you
go. A lot.
But Miss Lucy Liu, I say that because
disclaimer.
You do have an Asian background. How do you feel about like being Latino, Afro-Latino, and also I don't. The proper term is not
Asiatic.
Asiatic. Okay, because I was gonna say Oriental, but I know that's not the right term, and I know people get offended by Oriental, the phrase. Period. So Asiatic and Afro-Latino. How do you feel with that mix coming along and creating the genus that you are, Miss Lucy Liu?
Family-wise, is very hard because half of my family does not accept me as Asian. The other half does not accept me as Cuban. And then you also take in play race. I'm not white. I'm not black. I'm mixed. So regardless, both ways, neither of which like me.
Right.
But as a person, I'm very open-minded because we do live in Miami, which is just like in New York. You know, it's a very mixed pod. So we have a lot of different cultures in here. We have a lot of mixed people. So it's very common for me to find other people that are from different places, people that are mixed. So personally, I don't mind. I'm open to all jokes, so I keep it funny. I don't take anything personal, so
that's what's up.
So I got a question for you. Do you speak Spanish?
Yes.
Do you speak Japanese?
No. I do understand most of the words. Like if they speak slow to me, I can understand it, but they kind of try to rampage through
But
things.
by most of the words, can you understand a conversation?
I can understand people having a conversation or somebody trying to communicate with me, but I can't reply.
Okay. All right.
So you know arigato, konnichiwa, itakimasu.
For me, it's easy to understand if you put it in a sentence of what you're trying to accomplish. Like,
I
need this from the table.
The anime.
That's why I had to hit it with
anime.
So she understands Tamagotchi.
So, yeah.
Pokemon.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Super Saiyan.
You know what?
No, I'm sorry. In Japan, I believe they pronounce it Super Saiyajin.
Yes, they do.
I did got it right. That's a new one.
He got it right for everybody out there that feels offended. He got it right. He did say it right.
I'm personally a fan of.
One at a time.
I'm personally a fan of Vegeta-san.
Boom. And so go ahead.
No. Just going back to when he said the word Oriental, you know, like no lie. When he said that word, the first thing that popped in my head, I ain't gonna lie, call me a ghetto baby if you want, or Oriental. I think about ramen noodles. Then he said Oriental, I was like, ramen noodles? Hello?
Well, that's like the new term for that, like the Asiatic people as far as the culture base. They do not. They take offense to that now, and I've only heard this.
Oriental soup?
Well, hold on, bro. I've only heard this through the grapevine that this was an offense to the Asiatic people. But thank you for coming up with the word Asiatic.
Yeah. No. So I'm gonna hit you over the head with this. In terms of all that Asiatic shit. Now we're gonna talk about geography shit like to me personally. We're gonna go around the room. We're gonna go around the table, whatever the fuck you wanna call it. Name me continents. Everybody, whatever. Boom. Name continents. Go. Name continents. I'll help y'all. I'll help y'all motherfuckers out.
North
Africa.
Right. North America.
I'm gonna help
South
y'all
America.
out.
Africa.
Oh
Australia.
wait. No. It's one person at a time. How you gonna take the whole board?
Oh, my bad. I know I was giving.
You don't say. You just answer for all of us, so you know.
Let's say to my Asian self.
No. Of course you're gonna say Asia.
Right. There's Eurasia.
Of course.
Canada.
No.
That's never not a continent.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Because that is the whole. That's the whole thing
Is
that's going
Europe
on.
a continent?
Like
Yes.
to me, no, not at all. Why would it be a continent?
Well,
Why would it be a continent?
This is the argument he's trying to make.
See, there we go.
Why would it be a continent in your perspective? Why?
I don't agree. This is just how they mapped it and how they go about it.
Oh no, dog. It's real simple.
I'm
It's,
just saying,
it's
but
we
what
talked
makes
about
Europe
earlier.
a continent?
One at a time. One at a time.
It's what we talked about earlier. The reason why Europe is a continent because Europe let the monkey nuts hang. Europe went around the world, whooped everybody ass. Nobody could fuck with you. Europe went around all over the world and said, "Hey, you want to shoot a fan? Bomb! Shut the fuck up! Give me that. Bomb! Shut the fuck up! Give me that. Bomb!"
Well,
but that's what it did.
Everywhere but Asia, I have to say, because they did not conquer any parts
That
of
is
Asia.
true.
I mean, barely.
Spain,
teach you that
Spain,
like nobody.
Spain conquered more of Asia than England ever did.
And they didn't.
I mean, if you want to be accurate about who it was, because I don't want you to give false
Advertising.
false
False
attributes,
information.
false attributes to false kingdoms. There's a reason why it's called the how did you do this school? The Dark Ages? What
Right,
it's called?
the Dark Ages.
There's
The
a
plague.
no. Do you want to know why it's called the Dark Ages? It's real simple. Because at that time in the world, do you know the number one army, the number one religion in the entire world?
It wasn't.
It was no.
Islamic.
It was Islam. It was
Yeah.
Islam. All the Moors went into Spain. We kicked they motherfucking ass. We went in there and we kicked ass. Everybody,
in
like
Moors.
as Islamic, as soldiers of Allah.
Right.
You know
Came
what I'm saying?
into
Praises
Spain.
due to the Most High.
Came into Spain. Well, I just want you to clarify for the
No,
people
no.
that are listening.
But what
I
about
mean,
the
you
Roman
can tell.
Catholics?
No,
Oh,
hold
we're
on,
gonna
hold
speak
on.
about that.
Not all.
No. In Spain and all that shit, that's what happened. They expanded and they kept expanding and they kept expanding. Now there was a big war that happened between them, and after the end of the war, you know what I'm saying? During the Dark Ages, you got to remember one thing. During that period, it was a hundreds and hundreds of years that passed by between it, and then all of a sudden they realized everything. You got to remember, in that time, Islam, which came from Africa, we taught these Europeans how to take showers. They didn't even know about showers.
Facts.
We taught them showers. We taught them geometry. We taught them, you know what I'm saying?
Astrology.
All that shit.
Astrology, yes.
We taught them all that shit. Like you know what I'm saying? You always got to remember at the end of the day, and this is one thing that I tell, especially the young folk, because the young folk always want to be victim. Like, oh no, well this and this and that. History is written by the victor. It's real simple. I don't give a fuck. It's real simple. We could have beef, me and you right now, and I could be 100% in the wrong. But if I whoop your ass, guess what?
I make the call.
I'm telling everybody now, nigga, he was the one in the wrong.
Facts.
And what's gonna happen? I whooped that, and that's the way the world works.
Domination.
And that's the way the
America?
world works.
Domination.
So, like that's why you know what I'm saying? It goes
right, and
over
I
there.
want to swing it. I want to swing the conversation.
But
that way real quick.
how ain't nobody answered the goddamn question?
What question was
how
it?
many
What the
continents?
fuck are the continents?
Okay,
What
but
the
what-
fuck are
Seven
the
continents,
continents?
ain't it?
right, but now if he says it that way, it's 6. Well, really, there's still 7 because the North Pole
See, now, I
is not
fold my dog. I fold my dog.
But see if you
He
think
is smart, dumb.
but see if you also consider the North Pole a separate continent because it is not connected to any other body of land. Technically, the North Pole, Antarctica, Africa, Eurasia, North America, and South America, even though they are connected, well, we're not going to count that since you don't want to.
Yeah, because they want to draw borderlines.
Right. If you really want to be technical, there are still 6. Because it'll be North-South, which is North Pole, South, Antarctica, the Americas as an entirety.
South Pole.
The Americas as an entirety because there is no body or plane of land that disconnects north from south.
That is true.
Technically,
Because you got North America that goes to Mexico, which goes
so
to
it's
South America.
so it's the Americas.
Dog, it's real simple.
Hold on, you
I could drive from here
to
to
Brazil.
Brazil if you
to
want
Brazil. No,
Fuck
exactly.
yeah, if you want.
I could drive.
No,
there.
but you start in North America, right? And you
Right.
drive to Brazil, and that's
Easy.
going through the
Easy.
that's going through the
the Americas, right?
The
And
Americas.
and
You
I'm
can
gonna
drive.
promise y'all one thing. If y'all do that as American citizens, y'all gon' revolt my dog Trump because y'all gonna be like, you know what? We do need a wall. These motherfuckers in El Salvador is wildin'. All these niggas got choppers,
For the
and they
people-
all got machetes, and they all got face tattoos. We gotta keep them out of America.
Well, you know what?
We gonna keep it a buck. Hey, we gonna keep it a buck.
In my belief, you could build a wall all you want. There's a way around everything.
Facts.
Because
I
they
don't
either
believe you
gonna
should
dig
build
under it or they gonna jump over it.
Facts.
And if not, somebody gonna get smart and blow through it.
Facts.
You can't stop it.
Okay.
No, you never gonna stop it.
No, give her a part.
Since you're about history, how did the Chinese wall last?
What do you mean? How did it last?
How long did it last?
Oh, how long did it last? I mean, I don't know.
How long was it effective?
Because it's
all I
still,
know is
it's
Genghis
still
Khan.
built.
It's
It's
still
still being
effective.
rebuilt
It's-
and has no fucking effect. So
No,
how
no.
do you
If
think
you go-
building
I
a
wish it
wall
was that
for
long.
Mexico or for anybody else is going to profit us?
Facts. But you have to understand.
Oh, it's not. No, it's not at all. It's not at all. Because you know who crossed over that wall, the Chinese wall?
Who?
Everybody's great grandfather, Genghis Khan.
Okay.
Genghis Khan fucked all of our great grandmothers.
Okay. So this wall that Trump is building, what makes it any different in the Great Wall of China? What makes it any different?
There is no difference.
If that wasn't effective, how will we think that this will be effective?
Exactly my point, brother.
All Trump is doing, he's taking that.
Exactly my point.
Me, honestly, in my point of view, he's just taking that money, building this wall, and profiting off of it that nobody sees.
Facts.
Brother. All right. The bridge at FIU. If motherfucker don't know FIU, Florida International
May they rest in
University,
peace.
over there in Miami. The reason why it's called Miami because before the I-75 in Alligator Alley, that was the only route to get from Tampa to Miami. It was Calle Ocho, Southwest 8th Street. You used to have to take that bitch all the way to Tampa. That was the only way to go. So that area is called Miami. That bridge collapsed. Now that bridge, they had OSHA motherfuckers over there before it collapsed saying, hey, this should have fucked up, this should have fucked up, this should have fucked up. Nobody did nothing. That right there is the problem. Because it's like, all right, me personally, I work construction. The only people that's going to be affected by illegal immigration and all that shit is going to be a motherfucker like me. Because I work construction.
Try that
You
for
see-
one day.
No, I put my time in. I'm a foreman now. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. But I do my thing. However, I see what can happen because it is true. It is 100% true. That's the problem, brother. There's a story like I was telling Sam, and the story was there was the Dream Team, 1992. That's when basketball infiltrated Europe. You know what I'm saying? It was Chris Latner. It was motherfucking Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to name the whole squad. I'm trying to name the whole
I ain't
squad.
hear that in a long time.
I'm trying to name the whole squad and let motherfuckers know that I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But I can't remember nobody else. Like I'm bad. I'm a little inebriated. That's the name of the podcast. But however, during that time in Europe, Charles Barkley was about to give bread to a homeless dude. But Michael Jordan stopped him, and he grabbed the money out of his hand. He said, "Dog, if this motherfucker could say, can I get, you know what I'm saying, can you spare a dollar? This motherfucker could say, would you like some fries with that?" And at some point, we have to stop, you know what I'm saying, babying, or you know what I'm saying, like
Coddling.
you know what I'm saying, coddling, or you know what I'm saying, if you want to talk whatever language you want to talk, ñoñando, a motherfucker that don't want to do nothing, because at the end of the day, guess what? There's going to be motherfuckers that do want to do something.
Facts.
If you could talk, if you could move, if you could walk, if you could do whatever, if you're
Yeah,
young,
sure.
if you're active, if
know-
you're young and active, you know what I'm saying, there's no reason why you need to be begging. In my opinion, I agree with Michael Jordan 100%. If you could say, can I get a dollar? You can say, would you like some fries with
And
that?
you can also say, I need a job.
Right. So let's let the young lady speak from the
You
ladies'
could-
corner.
You could do that in a lot of places, and I do understand your point of view. But not a lot of people will give a chance to a homeless person. Why? Personal hygiene. You can't go into any shower and go shower, because unless you're going to a bus, not a bus stop, a truck driver stop,
I'm just fixing your mic. Go ahead.
or you have a family member to go home shower to, you cannot maintain. As a male, your beard grows, your hair grows, etc. As a female, personal hygiene's, there's time of the month. We can't afford, unless we're asking for enough money, we can't afford personal hygiene for ourselves.
Pussy
So
does
yes,
stink.
the grand idea is stop babying so they could get a job. But truthfully and honestly, a lot of people will not go, hey, you could have a job. A lot of people don't even accept parolees.
So
a
my
lot of
question
people
is-
do not accept people who don't have an associate's degree,
So
a
my question
bachelor's
is,
degree,
so
or
why
even a
should
high
I-
school degree.
One at a time.
Why should I, as a regular citizen, why is it my problem to fix the problem that the government has caused? Because the biggest roadblock from like niggas that I know that I try to put niggas on, the biggest roadblock is there's one question on that job application that really fuck niggas up, and the one question is, what is your address? You can't give a PO, but you can't do none of that shit. It's like, nigga, for me to get a PO box, I gotta put X amount of bread down.
Right.
I can, like, you see what I'm saying? There's clearly a visible flaw in the system, and we're focused on so many other things that we don't. Because guess what? Not everybody who is fucked up is a bum ass nigga. Like, there's some motherfucker that, you know what? I look at them and I've seen it. I will never forget the first time in my life. This motherfucker looked hungry, starving. I was Old Town. I never forget the shit. And I ain't had no bread on me. But for some reason, I literally had like sandwiches on me. I don't know why, but I had sandwiches on me. And I'm telling you, like, the motherfucker was like, yo, bro, you got $1? Because he tried to get me at first. Like, oh, yeah, you can park here, just $5. And I said, bro, what you mean $5? I know this shit free, bro. You out your motherfucking mind, bro? Fuck out of here, nigga. I'm from Miami, nigga. You crazy. And boom, he's like, nah, but you know, I say, hey, bro, look, I ain't got no bread on me, but I got this. Dog, I gave him a sandwich. Bro, I never forget this day in my life. And this is what made me jaded. Dog, I gave him this motherfucking sandwich. Dog, he grabbed the sandwiches, and he looked at the shit. And that motherfucker threw it on the ground and said, what the fuck, nigga, I can't get drunk with this shit. How the fuck did that supposed to make me feel, bro?
Of course.
You see what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie.
No, but you understand what I'm saying?
No. You know what?
Let him share the experience.
I understand exactly what you're saying, because I remember one time I was 12 years old. It was the whole family in the car. It was my mom, my dad, and everything. We just left McDonald's. We just bought, like, you know, it was like that special day 59-cent cheeseburgers, whatever. There's a guy with a sign talking about, I'm hungry. My dad opens the window, gives him 2 burgers. The guy looks at my dad's like, what am I gonna do with this? Your sign says you're hungry.
Bitch, you say you hungry.
Exactly. So my dad gave him 2 burgers, and he looks at him, and you know what that said? You ain't hungry. You ain't that hungry.
Yeah.
So my dad took it back, rolled up the window, and we drove off. Speaking to that, in my experience, from what I went through, and you know, for those who are watching this and those who do know me, you know, I work hard. I try to do my best. But people do fall, and when people get into a bad place, they make bad decisions, and I am admitting that I was one of those people, and it's okay with that, and I'm okay with that. And if if other people's not, then they're not being real with reality
Or themselves.
No.
or themselves.
That's their problem.
Yeah, that's their problem. But in my eyes, speaking from experience, every person who's on them streets being homeless, begging, is there by choice. And I'm saying this because I was in that position. I was there. I fell. I was at a gas station begging for change, begging for money, begging for gas, doing this, doing that. But the only thing that drug me out of it is because no matter what scheme I played, no matter what role I played, I took what I got and did something with it.
Because you wanted to.
That's ambition. That's ambition.
That's
That's
because I
ambition.
made, once again, a choice.
That's accountability. That's responsibility.
But it's still a choice.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get down. Like, it all boils down. In reality,
You made
life,
the choice.
Life is all about choices. If you ain't happy with your life,
Thank
it's
you.
because you ain't make the choice to make yourself happy.
Facts.
And I'm not gonna lie,
I'm gonna give you your spot. Hold on.
It took me
Thank you.
to work hard to get everything that I was planning for, that I had in my mind. Because hold on, back in high school, both of you guys know what was my plan: mold mechanics. How long did it take me to do it? But I did do it, years. And I graduated from that, and I went, further and further. But I made bad choices.
Even had your own shop at one point.
Yeah, I had my own shop. I had my own shop. I had my own crib. I had everything paid for. I didn't have any worries in the world. But I made some bad choices.
Everybody make bad choices.
You're right.
Point blank.
Because ain't
everybody
nobody perfect. Ain't nobody
exactly.
perfect.
Don't ever let a nigga ever tell you that they perfect. Because you point me to a motherfucker that say they perfect, and I'm gonna point you to a motherfucking lie. Nobody perfect but the Almighty Himself. Fact. Point blank. Period.
So let the person who sinned cast the first stone.
You already know.
Well, before you get
you feel me?
You already
know. But anyways. It can happen to anybody. You could be the richest motherfucker in the goddamn world. Make one bad choice and you be the brokest motherfucker that anybody ever seen.
Facts.
And I went from having everything going to my dream and all to having completely nothing. I mean, when I mean nothing, I never even thought that I can even
know the word.
Know the feeling of nothing. And it took me, no lie, you know. And I admit it, and I'm not scared, and I'm not ashamed to say my experience. But yeah, it took me to be under a bridge, living there, scratching my ass on like shit. I ain't showered because I had no place to shower because the Chevron unlocked the door on me because I done did it so many damn times. To finally get up and say, it's like, yo, I can't do this no more. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, ain't nobody suffering but me.
My brother, I'm gonna tell you straight up, and this is a story I ain't never tell nobody. I ain't gonna say no names and shit like that. None of y'all motherfuckers know, but it's a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I know that I hold dear to my heart. My dude, like I'm telling you straight up, 100%. I knew this motherfucker. Came from a good background, privileged background, had bread. And I want to say on some real shit, bro. Like I've seen how all this shit. Your experience, you know what I'm saying, may have been different. Whatever. Everybody's experience is always different. But at the end, you know what I'm saying, the finish line is still the finish line. You see what I'm saying? Like no matter what, you know what I'm saying. Heartache is still heartache. This motherfucker blew through. No lie, bro. I've seen this shit firsthand. This shit broke my fucking heart. Like I'm talking about, like it broke my heart to the point like this man is a grown ass man, and I'm over there like
struggling.
Tapping his jaw. Like I'm about to, I gotta tighten you up because you ain't trying to tighten yourself up. Cause I love you.
Right.
Blew through in 9 months. That's how I want you to think about this shit. My dude, in 9 months, 350 racks.
I believe it.
Hey, yo,
straight smoke.
I
believe it. I ain't gonna lie. I believe it too because when I was homeless and I was beating myself up, I was blowing $100 a night, nigga, easy like this without even noticing it. You know why? Because those are the type of people that beat themselves up for the reason that they know that what they did was wrong, and the only way to cope with that feeling that they know
is to get fucked up.
Exactly. I'm not gonna lie. I fell in that bad place, and you know. As a matter of fact, we all know here the bad place I was in, and that's not honestly. That wasn't not even a year ago. We're talking about 9-10 months ago. And you know what?
The smile that this motherfucker got on his face right now. Like I don't know if the camera's capturing this shit, but I'm telling y'all straight up. You can go back like real shit. A year ago, 11 months ago, there wasn't no smile on my dog face. It was, you know what I'm saying? So for me seeing this smile on my dog face, bring me joy. You know what I'm saying? Because like the love I got for this motherfucker. So it's like this situation touched dear to my heart. Not only because I'm I knew this motherfucker before he knew me. Just because you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I know I look. You know what I'm saying. I know y'all looking at me like, what are you talking about? I know I look mad good, but I'm older than this motherfucker by a lot. So, but you know what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like to me, this is like a little brother to me, type of shit. And it, you know what I'm saying, to see this, because like when he was in his lows, I used to sort of say him, but like, dog, like I don't even know, you know what I'm saying.
Is he alive?
No, straight up, and like, because I tried to get you the spot before and all that shit, and that was petting out, but it's like, dog, like I'm feeling bad because I'm feeling to myself like it's like, damn, I'm letting you down, and then I'm just like, dog, but it's like, is he trying to help himself out as well? Like, I don't know, like, what's going on. Because I've dealt with that situation before. And until like what we talked about earlier, until there's self accountability, until you realize, you know what, no matter how fucked up everything is, you still are in control of your destiny. Because at the end of the day, the finish line is still the finish line. However, the way that you get to that finish line can only be determined by yourself. If you want to go through the complete pits of hell to get there, you're going to get there through the complete pits of hell. And that's what's hard.
Now let's give Miss Lucy Lou the time to shine, because I know I know she's been waiting
to say something.
I know. No, I can see it.
Go ahead.
I try to give people their opportunities.
No, go ahead.
The way and the reason I spoke before was not speaking from somebody who has a knowledge of how America works, but I'm speaking from an immigrant point of view, because I've had family hit not even rock bottoms, below rock bottom at this point. But I've seen not only what the system does, but us as humanity do for people and do against people. A lot of people here just close the door, shine away, and act like it's not their problem. They do the bystander effect. That's what it's called in psychology. A bystander effect is somebody else's problem. No, it is our problem. We, the people, are the government.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we are what gives the government the power. So if we don't change ourselves, not only how we view them, but how we treat them. I'm not saying every homeless man that you see give $50. No. But if you do see a homeless person in the corner, offer them a job. It doesn't have to be a high-end job. He could be sweeping. He could be mopping. He could clean your toilet. He could take out the trash. Give them a simple little task so they could help themselves straighten out. Sometimes we need help. We don't know how to ask for it. Or we don't know how to look for it in the correct way. And we depend not on somebody else to help us out, but somebody to guide us. We have a lot of immigrants coming in from Puerto Rico, a lot of immigrants coming from Mexico, a lot of immigrants from DR, a lot of immigrants in general that don't know how our system works, don't speak our language, don't know where to go. A lot of people don't have homes, and we turn them away because they seem healthy. Mental health is not a joke. And it's not something that is seen. For you to have a mental breakdown, it takes inside problems. And sometimes we need somebody to speak to, somebody to vent to, or somebody to give us an idea of where to go to seek for guidance. For example, how they told you how to get to a program that will help you. A lot of people don't know any program that exists that will help a homeless person. A lot of freaking shelters, by 9 o'clock, you either got a room or you gotta go.
And that's true.
And there's so many homeless people, there's not enough rooms. Truthfully and honestly, we do have a lot of homeless that can't get a job, but we don't even help them to get a job. I'm not saying give them money. I'm not saying give them food, but give them an opportunity, a chance to better themselves.
So then, all right. So I got a question for you, because he was just interviewed on BBC over there in Europe, the Dalai Lama. You know what I'm saying? The Dalai Lama. So, excuse me. He was talking about the refugee situation going on over there in Europe and things like that. And he was under criticism because what he said was Europe should allow those refugees in, educate them, train them, teach them what they need to know, and then go back to your own land. Rebuild your own country. And they're attacking them. And they're, you know what I'm saying, they're asking like, why, what if they want to stay? And to me, I mean, like how do you feel it too? Because to me, it's just like why wouldn't you? Like me, like I didn't have a choice. I was brought to America. I was a child. I didn't have no choice. And like, I'm literally like stuck in that purgatory where it's like I've gotten into fights. I've gotten into fights with my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like fist fights. There'd be some shit in my, you know what I'm saying? My old boy would tell me, like, yo, you ain't no motherfucking Dominican. You a goddamn motherfucking gringo, nigga. Like, you was raised over here and all that shit. He goes, yo, you go back to where the fuck you was born at. You straight fool, nigga. We taking you off on your head, nigga. You ain't no fucking no, but straight up, because it's what you ain't Puerto Rican. You ain't Puerto Rican, bro. You getting eaten up. You getting eaten up. I'm getting eaten up. We ain't, because we ain't. We are American, and that's what and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why like people be trying to fight me, because I be telling them straight up, be like, yo, you know what? I'm American first, bro. Straight up, nigga. I was raised here. Everything I learned here. You know what I'm saying? Fading the motherfucker. I learned that shit here.
I think
chopping something down. I learned that shit here. You know what I'm saying? Hot wiring the whip. I learned that shit here. You know what I'm saying? I am American. You're damn right. Nigga, I go to DR right now. You go to Puerto Rico right now. Guess what? You smell like American water.
Yeah, but you know what?
smell
I
like
think,
a walking lick.
I think the correct definition is an American with an Hispanic heritage.
Right.
You
Latin
see,
American.
You can say Latin American, but I wouldn't really call it that because, like, let's say in my case, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? I was born in New York, but I'm full-blooded Puerto Rican, and my whole family that raised me was from Puerto Rico. In the summers, where was I? In Puerto Rico. You feel me? So it can go both ways depending on how much time you spend here and there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're never gonna be Puerto Rican to
Well,
Puerto
that's what I was
Ricans.
gonna say.
Unless
To
your
Puerto
birth certificate
Rican.
say Puerto Rico,
No.
you ain't Puerto Rican.
No,
man.
guess what my birth certificate say?
DR.
DR? You right?
Santiago de los Caballeros.
Santiago.
And guess no, sorry, no, that's my public.
I know.
Santiago de los Caballeros. Yo, criado en el retiro. ¿Cuál? Número 2, mané. Número 2. Guess what that means?
Translate.
That means nothing. No, fuck them. They got Google Translate on the phone.
Yeah, all right.
But guess what that means to them?
Blah, 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 blah. 'cause they don't know what it's saying.
No, it only translates to one thing to them. I'm a walking lick because guess what? I'm American. The way we walk.
Yeah. The way
It's
we dress
different.
and all, it's all different. Once you,
Yeah,
I mean,
but no,
once
we're
you
gonna
to the
go
airport, they already
subtle.
know. They already know.
We're gonna go subtle, my nigga. The way we smell is different. The way we
The
walk
body
is different.
language.
The way we move, is different. The way we talk to a woman is
different.
different. Everything they already know. You think they care? That he looks like he may have been born here. Yeah, right.
No.
You gonna be especially in Puerto Rico. I used to live in Puerto Rico. You the first motherfucker getting gum butter with a chop. I'm telling you. At least where I lived in Puerto Rico.
No, you ain't lying. That's everywhere now. No, it's
Es lo-
everywhere.
es lo que hace.
since long time.
Oye.
Frequent.
En lo que hace. Oye, ya tú sabes, hermano. There ain't no joke over there. The same thing in DR.
Yeah, but Puerto Rico.
So where do we stand in this country when it's like we love this country, but this country don't love us back?
And
You
that's
see what
why.
I'm saying?
And that's why I'm gonna swing
see
the
what I'm saying?
conversation to this young lady because she.
What's
can-
that, motherfucker?
Oh shit, we got. Oh shit, who coming in through the
The
motherfucker?
other half of Sami Ann with green eggs and ham. She's here with the wham bam. What you got there to eat?
It's only.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Where
You know what?
Hey, listen. Get in line, man. The whole world's been trying to do that for a long time.
Of course, it's my dog Jay Ferrari in the
You know what
building.
I'm saying?
Jay Ferrari pulling up in the
That
Fiat.
is Sammy.
We
That
in the
is Sammy's
building.
stronghold stone.
Thank you very much.
Hey, just in case if anybody didn't know.
No, fuck it.
No, my bad. That is Sammy's Leah Flat.
There you go. And so, no, really, what I want to get is Miss Lucy Lou. How do you feel? And I know you elaborated earlier a little bit about it, but now, even into your Latin heritage, have you been affected by somewhat of a term of discrimination, like as far as like you being a Latin American and also an Asiatic American?
Yes.
And-
From
and
communities.
how's that affected you in your upbringing? Because you do have both minority parents where they're completely separate from their experiences, and you're here in America experiencing both experiences simultaneously, that of the Latin American and that of the Asiatic American. How do you cope with it?
I never met her dad, but I still am scared.
Okay.
You know what? It's very hard in America in the sense that when you sign the little paper that says if you're Latin and where you're Latin, I always put Latin and Hispanic from, Cuba. Because that's where I was born. So a lot of process of eliminations for company goes through that. They just see Latin, oh well, next. They don't really see that, yes, I am Latin, but I was raised here. I speak more English than Spanish. I speak more English than Asian.
Right.
In general.
You could also be considered a Pacific Islander because of your Asiatic.
So
Right.
regardless of which way I put it on the paper, I tend to put none so I don't get judged by it. And I'm pretty sure that's why a lot of jobs don't hire me, because then they don't really know where I'm from.
Right.
And here it's all statistic game. A company needs this amount of workers that are Black, these amount of workers are American, these amount of workers are Latin.
For affirmative action.
Yeah.
Let's
So
make that clear.
yeah, so it stays all equal within the company as, weird.
As a whole.
But I'm pretty sure it still limits us, because if you have a spot for a Hispanic, it could be the same as you have a spot for a black person. There should not be a reason why you have to label a person. You have a open spot.
Right.
And for me, that's where I see as we have so many homeless people because we have a lot of immigrants that do not fit those criteria, do not fit that light. And I came across, not this year, but last year, I travel a lot.
Okay.
I went to London, then I went to somewhere in Germany. Don't quote me where. That was one of those tourist things where we hop around and just keep going.
Right.
And in Germany, I found a Latin woman sleeping on the floor, and I didn't give her money at first because I felt like it's the same thing at home. You're just another homeless person asking for money.
Another Latino.
So I sat down and I asked the lady on a personal level, what made you, hit rock bottom? What made you be here?
Get to this point. Right.
And she told me, I fled from Cuba. I
Blessing.
married a man to get here because he needed land in Cuba in order to set up a hotel.
Which is true, and you can only buy land in Cuba if you're Cuban. Like, that's just how they got it
certain
set
Latin
over there.
parts you have to be from DR, Puerto Rico. You have to be from the land in order to own land, in
Right.
order to profit from it, which is understandable. It brings profit to the people who are in the land because it is a small little community, a little small island that you can't give your whole land to everybody. I understand. But she did end up marrying him, and when he pulled her out, left her on the street.
Right.
She was a single mother of 4 children.
Oh, wow.
He reared children and dumped her. She
Right.
got older, he got richer, he dumped her for a newer wife. So I took down a personal level because I understood you're a Latin person in Germany who don't speak any
German
Spanish.
or
I'm
German.
sorry, they don't speak any Spanish.
Right. And she probably doesn't speak any German. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Du
It's like,
hast nicht.
it's like your experience, and actually I found out that doesn't mean that.
It
But-
does.
No, I found out it doesn't.
Well, you Googled it?
Take a
Yeah.
shot.
But yeah, actually, boom.
Ah!
That's right. Thank you for mentioning that.
Damn!
Shagalaga.
Boom.
God, were you talking to Lucifer earlier?
Yeah, I have a speed down.
Yo, listen, hey. Listen,
Make sure you-
I'm gonna have a conversation with this guy later.
No, you know what? Because I mentioned it to Jill, and she's German. And
I
they
know,
had a whole-
I know, but you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna call a man to deal on this guy.
Go ahead.
You know,
Stand in
you
line,
messed
honey.
up. All right.
He's going
My
into
eyes
something
on you
different.
now.
Not to take away from what you were saying. I'm sorry.
All right,
But
continue.
what I also wanted to ask you was that have you had any, or do you feel like you've had any Asiatic discrimination based on your heritage that you probably not directly but maybe indirectly affected you? Like, were you ever addressed after exposing that you were of Asiatic descent? Like, were you ever addressed incorrectly? Were you ever addressed or ridiculed after the fact of mentioning that?
Yes, I actually went to go visit some family in Japan. I'm not gonna say where, but it's a very, very small, low town, very poor town,
Right.
basically. And I went to go visit my father's side of the family, who is Asian, and I saw my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and they don't tell you to your face you're not part of us, but the actions speak louder than words.
Right.
For example,
Indirectly.
I was sitting at the table with my grandmother and my great-grandmother, who my grandmother lives in Cuba, my great-grandmother lives in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And my great-grandmother will ask my grandmother, does she want something to eat? Is she hungry? Is she thirsty? But she never addressed me as being in the table. And it wasn't a language barrier. They actually knew English. So she could communicate with me. She just chose not to.
Right.
They don't tell you to your face you're not from here because they're taught better. In certain parts of Asia, as not only the culture, but as we tend to try to accept other people that come in.
Right.
Because we do have a lot of rules, like certain parts in Spain, if it's winter, you have to accept a homeless person if they break in. You can't kick them out.
Wow.
So we kind of have the same type of rules or mentality.
Humility.
You know,
I'm about to move over there and be homeless. I'm breaking everybody crib.
Yeah.
No. Well, let's see how this goes. So go ahead.
Yeah, so they don't tell you to your face, you're not part of us, but they don't ask you anything to your face. They don't really care what's wrong with you. They just care about the actual people who are from there.
Right.
So if we went shopping, they wouldn't pay for my things. I would have to pay for my things. But if you were from there and I went shopping with you, they would buy you everything until their last dollar.
Okay, so you feel like the behavior of the culture is just not adaptable to what we have in modern society here in America.
No.
I
Okay.
mean, honestly, to me, it sounds like favoritism.
It is,
But we all do
It sounds like favoritism.
but we all do that in our own culture.
I know, but I'm just saying. But
as an example, and I want to just give it to the people as an example. Like for instance, your mother and father are both Puerto Rican, and that was done purposely as far as them continuing their cultural love and cultural society in which they wanted to both marry Puerto Ricans purposely to continue that lineage. Would you agree?
I would agree, but
I know it's a stretch, but would you agree as far as that?
oh, of course, because
The plan was
because as we could go way back in history,
right.
the parents always want to choose
Who
you
the
know,
husband and wife were.
Yeah, basically, just to keep that thing going, basically.
Right.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
so what I'm saying from your personal experience,
Yeah.
that you're experiencing to this day, because you are full-blooded Puerto Rican.
Surprisingly. I'm
That-
not Arab, I'm not Mexican, guys. I know. Hey, this has been going everywhere. So, you know what? For the record, I'm not Trini. I'm not Jamaican. I'm not no Boy. I'm not no
Right, right.
Indian.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm not Mexican. I am 100% Puerto Rican. I was born in New York, so you guys want to call me New Yorican, but I'm everything but of what I stated before. Guys.
Right. And no disrespect to that, but what my point is to make is that you coming from an aspect of having both parents sharing the same nationality, you and I both know.
Yeah.
Maybe not have been divulged to us, or even if it has been divulged to us, was done purposely based on the aspect of you sharing both aspects solely from Puerto Rico.
Okay, listen, and I know where you're going with that, and you are totally correct because of the fact that my parents have been, they met each other when they were like, my dad was 8, my mother was 6. This is back in New York. They were neighbors, both full-blooded Puerto Rican families, and like any heritage would, they would love
Their interest.
Exactly. They would love for their inheritance to go on in the same culture.
Right.
So I could say, yeah, I totally agree with you because my grandmother, and I'm not saying it in any type of bad way because I kind of honestly feel the same sometimes, and I'm not a racist. For those of you who know me, know that I like all people.
Right. You just have a preference.
Yeah. No. I don't have a preference. A person is a person, no matter what you are, who you are, where you're from.
So I apologize for saying
it's all about who you are as an individual.
Right.
You could be black Chinese. You could be Blackanese for all I care. Like Chris Tucker said at one time.
Right.
You could be Blackanese. It is what it is. But as a person, is where it matters. But the old school. How can I say?
60s, 70s,
Well,
50s,
the old school
40s.
rituals,
Right.
as I can say, the old school rituals is to marry into the same culture.
Right.
Because that's what we feel comfortable with.
Accepting.
We feel comfortable with it because we know each other. We go
Speak
go
the
back.
same language.
Speak the same language. Believe in the same beliefs. And so everybody's comfortable. Everybody's happy.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm the one in the family who dated nothing but Latinas and all that. I try to stay in my heritage and yada 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 yada.
But
eventually I tried, you know what I'm saying, outside of the heritage. That's how I got my beautiful daughter, Savannah Harmony Serrano, which is German and Puerto Rican. Weird mix.
Ironically, but it happens. It happens.
In America.
Right. But, no, and it happens in America. And that's why I want to get back to the young lady here because being of Japanese and Puerto Rican descent, I'm sorry.
Cuban!
Let me take that completely with
Hey, hold on. Shot!
Yeah.
Wrong information.
No, that's right. That's right.
Got him!
Japanese.
Remind me not to speak so I don't have to take it.
Now you want to be quiet.
Well, of Japanese and Cuban descent, not only have you went through the vice versa, and you were describing the discriminality that you've experienced solely just between your own family, not only in society, but what I want you to also, if you can, explain, like in societal aspects, have you ever felt this discrimination coming from, like, outside entities as well. Like maybe not your brother, cousin, sister, grandmother, auntie,
Maybe from
or
acquaintances?
grandfather. Right? Has it been from acquaintances? Like, have you ever been like you try to explain to somebody that you are Japanese and you just got laughed out of the room?
All the time.
Okay. And how
It don't matter
how was that
where I
experience
go.
for you? How was that experience for you? Because I'm not gonna deny that you possibly are Japanese. I don't know you personally like that. I've only seen you a handful of times, and so I'm trying to get to the point where I'm trying to hear you say this and accept it, which I do, but I want everybody else to also accept this information because they're probably receiving this for the first time of a Latin, Asiatic representative. That's what I'm trying to say.
Here is different because you don't hear it.
Right.
If you're in Cuba, it is very common for a Chinese person, a Japanese person, a Korean person to marry a Latina. It is extremely common over there. I'm not saying women around the world are not beautiful, but it is different to Asian men to see a Latino person. Mind you, and I'm sorry to say this, and it's the truth, I don't care how offended you were, but every Asian person looks the same. Same hair texture, same face, same nose, same body structure. They look, yes, some are older,
I would
some
say
are different.
similar. I would say similar because that's
I
the
feel
truth.
sorry for a
Well,
bounty
no.
hunter.
Well, no, because Filipinos. I have to stop right here because Filipinos, Cambodias,
Filipinos are Mexicans though.
Malays.
Mexicans and
Wait,
What
how?
Malays? Hold
How?
on. Don't, wait, hold on. You don't
wanna
know
take
this.
another shot?
He doesn't know this. He doesn't know.
I
This.
said,
No, he
no,
doesn't
I
know.
said
He's
how.
asking how.
I said how.
He doesn't
Ha,
know.
ha, ha.
He doesn't know that Spain
You're applying
actually.
crack.
He doesn't know that Spain actually conquered that part of the world at one point in time. So there's a lot of Filipinos that actually have the last name Reyes, have the last name Serrano, have the last name Rui,
Gonzalez.
So yeah, let me just slow you down right now.
Caraballo.
Yes, probably there's probably a Filipino Caraballo in this world. I just haven't met him yet. But let's continue.
Compared to one of your uncles, yeah.
Right, but let's.
There has to be one.
Has to be one.
One.
So what I'm saying is solely is that with your experience being Asiatic, but more of the known. Not saying that Filipino, Cambodia, Malaysia, all these countries aren't known, but Chinese and Japanese are usually the most distinctive aspects of Asian culture. With that being said, and I'm only saying this, I might be completely wrong. If you got something better to say, comment down in the comments. Let me know that I'm wrong, and I will address it thoroughly. An apology.
This is an hypothesis.
Hypothetic.
No, hypothesis.
All right, hypothesis on the thought. Okay.
Exactly.
So-
hypothesis. A scientific hypothesis.
Okay.
So let's go with that.
So with that, like, with your experience of experiencing discrimination, how would you describe it? Like, when you do describe that you are of Asiatic descent, how do you describe it?
Okay, so
Or how would you describe it? I'm sorry.
that's what I was trying to finish. So a lot of, going back to what I said, a lot of people that go to Cuba, it is normal to see Chinese or Japanese or Asian date Latin women because we do not look alike.
Right.
We are completely mixed with other Latins, Puerto Ricans, Colombians. We continue to mix and continue to mix, and we may be all Cuban, and none of us may look the same.
Right.
So
I'm
to-
Cuban, and we don't look the same.
So
we have
to-
very similar complexion, but we
But
don't.
have
to
to
them,
be.
it's, some coming from somewhere where everybody looks the same or similar. When you go to Cuba, it's, oh my God, there's a look at this lovely white or Caucasian person with curly hair.
Right.
Look at this person with my skin color and curly hair. Look at this black woman with white people hair. So we're so mixed. To them, it's a rare opportunity to find this gem.
Right.
So when I came over here, I was so accustomed to not the limelight, but everybody looking so cute. So now, when I tell people here I'm Asian, a lot of people go, "No, you're not," and they laugh at me. And I find it interesting because if I, show pictures and stuff like that, they still tell me, "Well, your grandmother is black. There's no way she's Asian." Yes, my grandmother is black, but yes, she was brought to Asia. She made it in Asia and had my father and came back to Cuba.
Ah.
So,
Well, that explains Hard Rock.
so
Well,
We're not
you
going
guys had that conversation. Hold on, I'll be right back. But please continue to have this conversation with him so he becomes fully understanding in your background and everything. Give me 2-second break, but go ahead, please.
So it's different because you could tell anybody you're Cuban, and it's understandable because of my complexion or my face structures. But if I tell people I'm Asian because I don't look white or Caucasian or I don't have Asian eyes, they just look at me like I'm crazy, and I find it interesting.
Well, I can kind of vouch for that because I met her at Hard Rock one night. Let's make the long story short. I would never thought. I'm not gonna lie. I could have betted my bottom dollar that she was a straight Latina. She's fluent Spanish. Listen, I'm full-blooded Puerto Rican. She speaks more Spanish than me than I would in my whole life.
Ooh.
Not gonna lie. Like she can have a full-blown conversation. I probably won't. I ain't gonna know half the shit she say.
Which interesting enough, I was taught Spanish here. When I came from Cuba, I came when I was 6. I, knew very little words: mom, dad, pop, food, whatever. But not a variety as if I do now. I actually got here, and because I live in Hialeah in Miami, Florida, here you speak so much Spanish. Your English is only used in school purposes. So I learned from the community around me how to speak Spanish. I had no choice because you go to any pharmacy and you tell anybody you're looking for a red cup and they look at you like you're crazy. So you have to say in Spanish, "Oye, estoy buscando el vaso rojo," and then everybody goes, "Oh, it clicks." I find it interesting.
Well, then here goes the difference. See, you went straight to Hialeah. When I came down here, I was in Opalak. I was surrounded around, not being racist, because I am not racist. I love all people, but I was surrounded around the darker, culture. I was raised around, Trinis, Jamaicans, Indians, Guyanese, to the point that, when I had my dreads, like, yo, you Guyanese, you Trini, and it got to the point that I could speak more patois than I can't even speak Spanish. That's because I was raised around that environment. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, hands down, I wish I was taken to Hialeah. Because that is, my roots, because it's a Spanish culture, no matter whether it's Cuban, Dominican, whatever, it's still a Spanish culture. See, I can sit here and you put me around a whole bunch of Trinity Jamaicans, I'm going to blend right in. All day, every day. But, the day we met, hey, listen, I could have betted everything I owned. You were straight up Latina and there was nothing else to you. But when I heard Japanese, I was like, listen, I had too many to drink. This was the hard rock day, and this is the hard motherfucking rock to accept at the moment. But it is, it is what it is. And when it comes to, nowadays, in this life, in this perspective, and to how everything is going, I believe that a mixed person is more better with themselves than a full-blooded person, because you know what?
Open-minded.
Their experience.
Exactly.
Their experience.
Because they're open-minded to more than one thing. And when you're open-minded to more than one thing, that's when you're outside of the box.
Fact.
And what did he always say? Think outside of the box. So, honestly, sometimes when I think about it, yeah, I may be jealous sometimes because I'd rather be a mixed person, because I'd rather want to know more about
something
other than what
yourself
is known. No, than what is known at the time.
Facts.
I'd rather know myself, you, and the other that I never even met before. Just because I want to understand everybody so we can make one whole.
Facts.
Because that is like the true virtual goal that this whole world is trying to conquer. Everybody wants to be one world order, one world peace, and all this and that and the other. But nobody can ever sit down and actually take the aspect from every different culture and say, yo, you know what?
I agree.
You do one thing, you do one thing, you do one thing, but guess what? We all do the same thing in different ways.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And I agree with that. And go ahead.
As far as
last thought. Last thought, because we gotta wrap it.
As far as discrimination went for me, the hit home run for me was when I was in foster care. I was in foster care when I was young. I lived in Ohio, and a lot of people in Ohio are not Latin. They do not speak Spanish anywhere I go.
Or any other culturally.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
man. Would you like to park
So-
right here, right now, ma'am? Thank
No,
you
they
very
don't-
much.
They don't
No,
talk
hold on,
like
hold
that.
on.
They talk proper English, like kind of like more of an England thing than a Southerner thing.
Someone like a British.
Yeah.
But just clean English. Just
So
Proper
proper.
English.
Yeah.
that's what she said.
So everywhere I go or everywhere I went to go shop at, and I will ask people, how much is this or whatever. A lot of people looked at me, and they kept going. So where are you from? Because you're not from here. And I would tell them to their face, I'm not from here. I'm Cuban Japanese. I was born in Cuba. And they would tell me, so why are you here? And I never told them because I was in foster care and this is the only choice I have, which I do not regret. I love my foster mom. But
you should never regret your past.
Well, let her get to it.
But it was hard because I couldn't make any friends. When I was over there, I only had, thank God, 11 brothers, may I add, and 4 sisters. And apart from my family, nobody I could talk to. I would go to school and I would sit next to you and they would plainly get up and walk away. And I would ask people, what is the issue? Is it because I look different, because I dress different, I walk different, talk different? And they would tell me to your face, because you're Latin. You're not part of us. You're not one of us. And I speak more English than most of them.
Right.
And I'm not saying proper English, but I know a lot of more vocabulary words because I've been a teacher.
Right.
I've been a teacher for 8 years, so I know, how to speak to people. And I just found it interesting because they even tried. They just rejected me out of nowhere just because I wasn't from there.
I believe it.
The most discrimination I got was really from my own family because I'm not part of either. And it's not like your Puerto Rican culture where they want you to date somebody, down the line that is Puerto Rican because you're Puerto Rican. It's not like that. It's more of you have no choice. Your family accepts your daughter, even though she's not full Puerto Rican. My family does not accept me. My mom's side is German, Italian, Cuban. They're all white, blonde, blue eyes. I'm the darkest thing around. My dad's side, yes, they are black, but they're all Japanese. Apart from my grandmother and father who speak Spanish, none of them speak or even try to speak to me. Because they don't see me as I'm black, because I have white people hair. I have white people fractures. I don't look like I belong in their culture either. So,
Shot, you don't have white people hair. Shot.
No,
I don't give a shit. Shot.
Don't try me.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
ain't got white people hair.
Go ahead. No, let her finish her thought. Go ahead.
So it's hard. When it came down to Miami, it's more accepting because we are mixed. We're really extremely mixed. You go to school and you have a lot of different people.
Everybody.
And nobody here points a finger. Everybody's, oh my God, you're from there.
That's
so tell me
cool.
from where you're from.
Right.
So do you speak it? Like they ask questions. Here it's interesting. They're intrigued of who you
Other
are.
places, it's more rejection and discrimination.
Yeah. So here, I didn't face a lot of discrimination for being Latin. I don't tell people I'm Asian because I don't feel like dealing with the next 3 hours of
Explanation.
proving who I am to
Right.
a stranger.
Writing
Which,
a
by the
book.
way, I shouldn't have to explain to anybody who I am or where I'm from.
Facts.
You should be able to trust and believe a person you meet because you're the one asking the questions to a person. I do not look any cooler by saying Asian. I do not look for any attention because I'm Asian. There's no purpose for me to tell you apart the truth, to be honest. But from here, I did not get any discrimination that far. It's very accepting, and I don't use my Asian side because of that reason. But when I do travel and I go to other places and people do ask me where I'm from, I do get the hisses and the ahs and the oohs.
But you still do describe yourself as Asian.
Oh, every time.
Okay.
Whoever asks me, I'm Cuban Japanese. Whether you like it or not, whether you ask me 700 questions. If I'm up for it, I'll show you pictures
that's
to the
what's up.
person. But if not, I'll walk away.
No, that's what's
I
up.
call it a Q-Jack.
He just
Yeah, 'cause I'm
he's
cute.
making this word up. But also and what I just wanted to say about that part was just like it's about the representation as well. Like as long as you're willing to represent yourself proudly across the board, that's all that matters. But thank you everybody. Thank you Ray. Thank you Lucy Lou.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for watching. Everybody out there, please check out the Inebriated Podcast on all social media platforms. Check us out on Patreon. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, everywhere.
Comment where you're from.
Yes,
See where you
please.
guys are from.
All I want to say to everyone who's watching and listening, never be ashamed of who you are and what you've been through, because that is exactly what makes you who you will be in the future. Just
Amen.
grasp onto it.
Facts.
It's on you to make it good or bad. We all have choices in this life, and it's all on you. And I'm speaking from experience. You can make your life bad, or you can make your life good. Think about what you want in your life and keep with it, and you'll never, ever be unhappy in your life.
Boom. Thank you for those words. I appreciate that. No, and in closing, this is the Inebriated Podcast. We have reached inebriation. Thank you for listening.
Have a good night.